seriously.
All right, 3 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Back here at home, we're following a developing story. It is disturbing. This is in the city's Juniata section where 4 teenagers were shot, 2 of them fatally. Four teenagers. And I almost see when we say teen, I think sometimes people think 17, 18.
Try
These
14.
Were,
14.
young kids.
Look, a week ago today, we're standing here talking about how violent 2012 had begun. And yesterday, in one day, 5 people in the city were murdered and 2 teenagers, a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old, so critical right now, according to the police here at headquarters, they could die any minute and bring that number to 7. Well, let's talk about the latest incident, and that was at 10:30 last night, 7 kids in one car. We also talked about that a couple of weeks ago. That's now against the law, by the way, that brand new law, only 1 minor allowed with a new driver at a time, but believe me, that's the least of the broken laws here in this case. 3 of those shot, just 14 years old, 8th graders, and that's even if they're going to school, because what are they even doing out driving around in a car at 10:30 on a Tuesday school night anyway? And where are their parents? Where were their parents as well is a second question, who will have to now look at themselves in the mirror this morning with that hard question, now that 2 of those 14-year-olds are dead. Another 14-year-old so critical right now, he could die any minute. The 16-year-old driver, the oldest in that car, shot in the neck. And where did he get this 97 Toyota Corolla that they were all in? If it's his or one of his parents, did they let him go out driving with 6 kids in the car on a school night last night? Well, where they were was in the Juniata section, right off Castor Avenue. Police think they were lured to this spot in an alley to be ambushed right off Luzerne Street. So why would someone want to kill so many boys, not even young men, barely teenagers? 10 shots fired at them. 6 of those 10 shots hit the kids and the car. The driver was still able, even though he was shot in the neck, to drive to St. Christopher's, which happens to be a children's hospital. Police have the 3 others who were in the car, luckily not shot, as witnesses, and now tell us this morning they already have 2 people under arrest in this case.
24th District officers received a radio assignment for a report of gunshots in the rear driveway in the 1500 block of East Luzerne Street. At the same time, we learned that there were 4 shooting victims that were transported by private auto to St. Christopher's Hospital. There were 3 14-year-old victims and 1 16-year-old. 2 of the 14-year-old victims were pronounced dead at the hospital just before 11 p.m. The 3rd 14-year-old shooting victim is in extremely critical condition. He's fighting for his life right now. The 16-year-old shooting victim, who was the driver of the vehicle, was shot 1 time in the neck. He's in stable condition.
Well, Police Commissioner Ramsey had a real hard day and a real long day. Another day, too, of realizing that even if he had 5 times as many police officers, he wouldn't have been able to prevent the Savage Grizzly double murder that started the day in South Philly that sounds like something out of the Manson family, or this ambush attack at the end of the day. 5 people killed in one day, 7 if the 14-year-old and another 16-year-old, by the way, shot at 9:30 last night in Nicetown, don't pull through. What a violent day. And you had another kid shot in the head, by the way, in the middle of traffic at rush hour in front of a whole full SEPTA bus. And these killings, not just the usual run-of-the-mill gun violence, but just savage killings that really stand out in your mind when you're talking about the Manson-type murders down in South Philly, where a kitchen utensil is shoved down a dog's throat, probably in front of the owner, torturing these dogs for some reason to get the owner to talk before they slit their throats. And then you have 7 kids in a car and somebody with essentially a machine gun opens fire on what looks like a Little League baseball team. It's for the police here, they're like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh.
Bring on a blizzard so it'll keep people inside for a few days and get us a chance to catch up with all this.
I know, we're only 11 days into the year, Steve. My
We need a
goodness.
pause button.
Hey, yeah. Well, this is